But one thing that I've learned, being 40 years old and living for 40 years and education as well, storytelling is so important. It's like essential in a human's life.
Yeah.
And why do you, as an author, why do you think that storytelling is important for children and adults? Why is it such an essential piece of a person's life?
I'll be honest with you. I shouldn't be saying this as an author because I am a new author. I never studied, I never took literature. This wasn't my major. I'm a dental technician, even though I didn't do any of that either.
Yeah, yeah,
Typical, you get your diploma, you get married, and you forget about.
yeah.
Anyway, I wrote this book for people who don't like to read because I fell asleep when I read. I'm more of a visual person.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it if my book turns into a movie. I actually wrote it because I want it to be a movie, but I also wrote this if I can just help one child to read and start liking reading. And now that I wrote, I see how important it is for young kids to read.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would be very happy if I could just get one person to understand. And my point of view, when I started writing, I understood how to read another book. It was the weirdest thing um, because I knew how things were being set. I stopped falling asleep when I read another book. So, in this book, the way I wrote it, because I'm already older and I know how to do it, I'm not going to start from my position. So I started from back to zero. How can I make the
Mm-hmm.
children, kids, teens read a book? So what I did is first I did not use big words because if you get the reader to stop and look and ask Siri what the word means, you lost them. So I wrote it very simple and very fluffy, especially the first book, just to get them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, intrigued and want to read instead of getting on the TV
Mm-hmm.
or getting on the computer or playing video games or whatever. So I know that there's enough books for Americans and other ethnicity. They've written many, many books. When I wanted to write this book, I realized that Armenians, we had a lot of romantic authors. I'm not saying I'm the first one, but we didn't have any for now. And as an Armenian romance author, even Barnes and Noble said you were the first one.
Mm-hmm.
We've never, usually it's about, genocide
Yeah.
or kids' books, which is fine. But I wanted to write about love and I wanted to write about how to save yourself if you can for marriage. But I
Wow.
did not want to write by telling them how to do it because you tell any teenager, they're not going to listen. But if you tell through a love story and they see how romance can happen, and romance, even though these kids, they're very elaborate, they go to a lot of lavish vacations, but the romance part is free. So I wanted to teach the young men, especially Armenian young men,
Mhm.
you don't have to spend a lot of money to have romance in your life because, uh, you know, romance isn't buying,
Yeah.
a Louis Vuitton bag,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's temporary happiness. I wanted them to be happy forever. And so there was that one section of why I wanted to write. I wanted the kids to read. I even did the pages bigger, white with the
Hmm.
big font,
You
just
did. It's
sh-
easy. It's
easy.
easy
Yeah,
and legible.
yes. And um, even though my book is called YA, it's a fiction YA
Hmm.
romance, but so many older people, they're reading it. They feel connected. They can relate. Nobody's born this age. Everybody was a
That's
teenager
right.
once,
That's right.
and because it's such an old-fashioned kind of love, that I got older people reading it. I mean, my biggest fan is 63 years old.
That's
She's yeah,
lovely.
she's she does all these beautiful things and sends me stuff, and you'd think she was a 13-year-old teenager.